everyone, Melissa Kreider here, Melissa Kreider Yaks, Yarn Arts, Crochet, Knitting, and other stuff. And it's time for my monthly favorites. I'm sorry it's coming to you a little bit late this month. But as you know, I've had some health problems. And, well, I always have health problems, but they've been a little bit worse lately. So I'm sorry about that. And my podcast is going to be recorded after this. It's going to be a couple days late too. But it'll be coming to you. And I accidentally deleted my podcast from last week, or 2 weeks ago. I was in the doctor's office messing around with my YouTube channel with my eyes dilated, which you should probably never do. And wouldn't you know, but I accidentally deleted it. So I will show my projects from the week before on this week's podcast. So I'm sorry about that, if anyone was looking for that. So let's get to this month's favorites. First up is tea from a company called Teavana, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. The flavor is mulled pomegranate cider and apple cider tea. I believe they are both black teas. I like to mix half and half. Maybe I add a little bit more of the mulled pomegranate cider tea than the apple cider tea. They are both good on their own, individually. They're available on their website, I believe, and you can get them in the store also. But both of those are very good teas. They remind me of Christmas time. Next up, I always get this around Christmas time. Queen Anne's Cordial Cherries. These make great gifts. You can put them in a box, in a homemade papercraft box, or you can crochet up or knit up a bag and put them inside a bag and give them as a gift. And it's a great way to show that you care for not a lot of money. This is only $2, under $2 for a box, and I've even seen them at the dollar store. The next thing I'm about to talk about, my husband actually threw away my prop, so I'm not sure what happened to it. But it's from a restaurant called Ivan's, and it's available at Costco. It's a soup, a loaded baked potato soup, and it comes in a container about this big by this big. And it's a loaded baked potato soup, and it is delicious. It tastes like homemade, and I can't say enough good things about it. We don't have Ivan's here in Texas. I think they're in the Northeast, but I'm not sure. But if you have a Costco, I would recommend getting that soup. I've had to eat a lot of soup lately because of my throat issues. And trust me, I know a good soup, and that is good soup. So I would check that out if you can get it. It's only $8 for 2 huge containers. So check out that soup. Up next, I have yarn. This yarn is Yarn Bee, Must Be Merino. It is a number 3 weight yarn. This is colorway burgundy. You get 227 yards. It's 50% merino, 25% acrylic, and 25% nylon. It is an amazing yarn. This is colorway ivory. It's just an amazing yarn. I can't say enough good things about it. It's super soft. You get a lot of yardage. It's only $5.99 for both. For $5.99 a skein, and it's usually 30% off. So I mean. And if it's not 30% off, Hobby Lobby usually has 40% off coupons you can use. So that's what I did. So it's a great deal for for merino wool. Just a great deal, and it's so luxurious. Such a great yarn. And as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Yarn Bee yarn. This next yarn is a yarn company, Cascade Yarns. I am a huge fan of Cascade Yarns. I can't say enough good things about Cascade Yarns. It is just one of the best companies out there for buying yarn. You can always count on Cascade Yarn to be good quality. You know it's not going to split. It's going to hold up well in the wash. It's going to be soft. It's going to be luxurious. It's going to be at a good price point. You just know it's not going to bleed. It's just going to be good, high quality yarn at an affordable price. This is just an example of one of my favorite ones that I have. It's 128 Superwash. It's a Superwash merino. I thought this would be a good example for the holidays. It's colorway 875. It's a bulky number 5. I thought it'd be a good example to work up fast for a holiday project. But I love Cascade Yarns, and it made my list of favorites for November because it's just a good company. Up next is Yarnology yarn hooks. And I seem to have lost a hook. There's a hook. Up next is Yarnology yarn hooks. They're gorgeous hooks at a great price point. These hooks were both under $4. I mean, they have great grips. I mean, these grips are awesome on both these hooks. They glide through the yarn really easily. They have good points on them. I'm a Susan Bates fan. Just to give you some idea of what kind of hooks I like, they're just great hooks. You know, the price point is great, so if you lose them, you're not going to be too upset. But I love these hooks. I can't say enough good things about these Yarnology hooks from Hobby Lobby. So get yourself some of these. This is my new favorite hook. It's an 8mm. I just love these hooks. The next thing I want to talk about is granny squares. The Secret Yarnery has gone granny crazy, and I've gone granny crazy with them. I even started the Drunken Granny stitch. As you can see, that's going to be a cowl or a neck warmer. Whatever you want to call it. It's a gift for a friend. I'll tell you more about it in my podcast. I might have to change yarns though. I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing it. I'll talk more about that in my podcast though. That's not for our favorites video. But I just can't say enough good things about Krista and her YouTube channel. And I have just loved her Granny series, and I just love her channel. She does great tutorials. She does really original content on her channel. She goes nice and slow, so if you're a beginner, you can understand her easily. She just has a really charming personality. And, you know, sometimes you can just tell that someone's just a really good person. You can just really tell that about her. And I just really can't say enough good things about her. So check out her channel. I will link her below. If you're not subscribed to her, check her out. And don't forget, when you're going to these channels, don't forget, if you're not subscribed to them already, to say that Melissa Crider Yak sent you. It helps get my name out there and helps get people aware of who I am. So thank you for that. And the next person I'm going to talk about is kind of, I think, the godmother of the granny square, although she didn't invent it, but she has a ton of them on her site, and that is Nadia from Yarnutopia, who has a ton of granny squares. 365 of them. She has 365 days of granny squares. I'm not going to show you all of them, but just amazing how many granny squares tutorial videos she did. Just amazing. So check out her site. I will link that below. I mean, look how beautiful these granny squares are. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. She did so many tutorials. Unbelievable. Alright, I won't go through all those. The next thing I want to talk about is a granny square book. This granny square book is by a lady called Margaret Hubert, and it is available on Amazon for $2.99. You spell her name Hubert, and I will link it below. Let me try and bring up an example. Here's an example of one of her squares. Let me see if I can get another one. Here's another example. Here's another example. And I can show more examples on my podcast, or my live chat on Friday if you want. But she has, the patterns are anywhere from beginner to experience. So as you get better with the granny squares, you can get to harder patterns. But the patterns are just gorgeous and beautiful. And, I mean, there's over 100 patterns of granny squares in that book for $2.99, which is just an unbelievable value. And it's an ebook, so you can download it right away and get instant gratitude. Or gratitude? Is that the right word? That's not the right word. I can't think of the right word, but that's not it. Instant satisfaction. That's the right word. The next person I want to talk about is my designer for this month. And that person is Mama in a Stitch. She is one of my favorite designers. I love her. And the great thing about her is a lot of her patterns are free. This is a pattern I plan on doing coming up soon. This is a knit pattern. And I will link these patterns for you. Here's another knit pattern. It's a crochet pattern. And here's a knit pattern. So anyways, that's my show for today. If you like the show, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much, and happy crafting, everyone. Bye.